Good morning, good afternoon, good evening everybody. Thanks a lot for joining us. We're here and we're back live again today. We've got a wee bit of FC Barcelona season ticket members action on the channel on a Monday, and we're coming at you live a little bit earlier than normal. I guess in a little bit to make up for being a wee bit behind schedule over the last couple of weeks, but also it's a busy Monday. We've got all sorts of stuff going on, not just today but across the full week. It is Battle Stations here at Quinny 3001. Fist bumps to you all. Thanks for joining us on arrival, and we've got tons of stuff to get stuck into. And yeah, let it be known you're here in the chat. We'll do the requests for your Sorare strategy reviews as we always do with the FC Barcelona season ticket holders, the members on the channel that pay their £1 a week, their £4 a month to get their season ticket. And otherwise, yeah, happy to shoot the breeze and chat all things Sorare like we normally do here on a Monday. Bunchies joining us on arrival, of course. I see James Johnson, I see Rude, AAA, Red or Dead, Kieran M, Mason Miller, Boyson, Hoodwink is back again as Mikey Basson. Fist bumps to you all. And Mason Miller is on for one as well, so that's quality. We'll add that on to the little running order we've got. And it's a very, you know, it's that time of year where, you know, it's a changing of the seasons almost. We're all in that kind of the sharp end of the season with our core strategies, as well as, like, you know, what strategies can we maybe shelf or cash in on now and start to prep ahead for next year. But yeah, let it be known what I get stuck into. I guess I'll just kind of preamble a little bit. We've got 2 requests sitting ready and firing and ready to go. Not too sure how long we'll be live for today, but we'll go for as live as we've got requests and we're chatting about something halfway fun. But yeah, where to start off with, because I think, like I mentioned there, in terms of the changing of the seasons angle, it's certainly something I've been quite focused on the channel over the last couple of days. We did a video a few days ago talking about when to sell your in-season cards, or kind of when is the best time to buy next season's cards. Or I guess it's classic, I suppose, is how we're thinking about that, ahead of any strategies and whatever you've got next year. So it does really feel at the moment on Sorare that it's a bit of a buyer's market, for a few reasons. But one of the things in particular I was kind of wrestling with coming into this game week, I guess I'll just put the results up. We've kind of, there's still a wee bit to go. We're going to get a little bit of cash in essence and a wee bit of everything, which is kind of fine. But I'm kind of looking at, like, MLS has been a bit of a pain in my ass, and for as much as I've got a little budget hot streak thing here, I kind of need another week or two to run with the guys I've got and really test their metal. But I'm getting somewhat tempted to maybe add a bit of firepower, an extra push player to get this being viable, get it being competitive. New York has been the worst team that win football matches in Sorare history this year, where like a 1-0 win, only one decisive, or 2 if you include the goalkeeper's clean sheet, and everyone else, like, look at how many guys can't even get to 50. Like, oh, it's been brutally painful for them. And then when I kind of contrast that with some of the stuff we've had going on in Champion Europe this season, never mind this game week, I'm feeling like, oh, just another wee push, just one more wee player. We could have got a little bit higher there. And then with the Celtic stuff, like, it was all firing, but Jota's injury ruined the team. And then otherwise, I never really got a full 5 together of 70 plus scores, although that was there. And we're maybe just about going to hang on to some bits and bobs with that. And again, like, thinking about the full strategy, the full club strategy, or the full region, the full collection, however you want to think of it as, the Celtic stuff for this year, like, all these in-season cards, of course, are now, or when we get to the end of the season, going to be classic only. So I'm only going to get one of these in per lineup on top of the one kind of bunch of classics I've had to fight for it anyway, which means all my classic rare And the classic limited stuff I'm just doing is throwaway for the most part. But look at this for the weekend. O'Hara clean sheet, Mitov clean sheet, and the goalkeepers that I picked over them, Gordon and Double Amisa, were absolutely stinking. So goalkeeper selection could have made it a wee bit better for me in the end. But limited classic next year is going to actually be a competition that I'm actually really competing in now, with the amount of goalkeepers and the amount of Celtic cards. And then limited in season we've kind of slowly walked ourselves into here as the kind of underbelly to the rare in season strategy, with these rare cards using the limited keepers as the kind of activator on that. And that will take a little bit of time for us to get into for next year. But already, like with this core strategy, my classic rare and my classic limited, and I don't mind playing the classic limiteds stronger next year because of how the galleries evolved, etc. Because I'm also quite mindful of, if they can win me in-season limited cards that are handy, it'll help get this strategy off the ground a little bit quicker. And I've felt a little bit of that with one of the only like limited cards I've had, maybe not this weekend, but last weekend, Elenic and Freeze. It's just a wee bit extra comfy to pick that team, knowing I've got a defender to go with the goalkeeper. So it's very much at that time of year, business end of the season, where we're thinking about head counts on the roster. I've still got Tanny to run, actually. That's interesting. I doubt that we'll get into 80 points. We'll get into a reward. Unlikely. But if we do 7 essence on top of the rest of it that we're building up, which is quite cool. And we've gotten to the extent where we're putting away throwaway teams with like some real quality in it that we should have maybe managed a bit better. We might have just scraped a little bit more something out of the back of the gallery here. But some DNPs kind of hurt us on that one. So yeah, big weekend, but not quite as big as it could have been, should have been. And off the back of this weekend, there won't be any deadline show tomorrow. I'm kind of otherwise engaged tomorrow afternoon. But isn't this the most midweeky team you've ever seen in your life? Navas in goals for Newell's Old Boys taking on Huracan. We've got Christopher Ayer, my only defender. Brentford v Forest. Chelsea versus Drooshgarden, with Nkunku in midfield, and then Rafi at home to enter, and Berardi for Sassuolo at home to Carrarese. The most midweeky team I've ever made in my life, I think. And then on to next weekend, which I'm not going to look at just yet, although I was, after the Celtic game, the title celebrations, I've already went ahead and made my Celtic teams for next weekend. For the most part, we'll probably chop and change them a little bit, but I thought I was in a good place after Saturday, and I thought let's just kind of thrash some of those ones out, because I always look forward to the derby games being that extra sweetness of an SO5 win as well as a win on the pitch. But I'm looking for, because again, like one of the things I'm hoping to drive home in the final part of the season is some big wins, because like I said at the beginning of the year, if you were to look at your season as a whole and see, oh, I got 4 podiums and I got this and I got that, you know, like ideally you're getting that all across the season and you're kind of, you know, viably competitive all the way through the season. But some of us that won't be the case. Some of us won't be competitive to the end of the season, you know, so that's kind of what I feel I've got to the now, especially for Champ, where like in season, yeah, this team sucked ass or whatever, right? But it wasn't that far off, and I do have a few other guys if fixtures were available and injuries and whatever. It could have been a bit better. But I feel like now is my peak competitive strength, and this is probably the first season where that's been the case. I think so often on Sorare the last 5 seasons where this time of the year I'm really in get ready for next year mode, because Sorare has had so many iterations and changes over the years that normally at this time we've got word of some sort of seismic change, thresholds, cap modes, blah blah blah. You can go through the pantheon of content we've got here to see all the stuff that's happened. Whereas this year we know there's not going to be any seismic changes to the arena as we've had it this year in its maiden season, and it makes that kind of thing for me, like I've done all that work now like 5 times over, so like my gallery's quite well set, and I'm really looking forward now to end a season like smashing some really big D1 wins, try and get the MLS thing off the ground, and everything that goes around that. I spent a wee bit of money. I had like, I think I won 20 quid last weekend or something, and I got Jordan Morris, a bunch more of the Seattle guys, also got a Thomas Muller, rookie Costa, the guy that was at Villa that's now at Leipzig. I got Aidan O'Neill as soon as the transfer news to New York was materialised. I'm not too sure how well he'll do, but I'm hoping it's a kind of knock-on effect, as well as Rusnak and Rui Diaz, who we didn't realise when we bought him that he was going to have some Peru utility, and he scored 2 goals at the weekend, an 84-pointer, which is nice. And yeah, otherwise I think we've spoke about all that stuff. So yeah, I'm just kind of rounding off the edges. I see someone in the chat asking what I'm doing with Essence. I'm saving that motherfucker up. And I was thinking when I was looking at this, by the way, they've done really well with how they've optically displayed this Essence, so that it's really tempting to yank it now, because you look at all these bars, are all the same size in terms of the gap in between them. But this next bar is actually 150, and the next bar is actually 250. So it's going to take even, because when you get to this point, you think, oh, that was easy. I got here really quickly. Maybe I'll just turn it and burn it. But I want to get right high up on the Essence, and my Essence capture is going to fall through the floor when Celtic go away and all the European guys go away. So I'm not going to get it twisted on perspective of how likely it is to capture this Essence and how quickly I can do it. I want to have all my Essence sitting here. I want to pull a banger of a card. What is it, 2 weeks into early access we'll be able to do it? So yeah, I'm up for doing that. I'm maybe not going to do it right away, because you know some people will still get screwed, but I'm definitely doing it early season, pulling a 500 marker. That's my plan of attack. Lilypad Gaming. Sorare seasonality has removed the fun of picking up late season Euro bargains for next season and accepting the XP deficit. It maybe has a little bit, Mike. Maybe has a little bit. I agree with you there that there's less of that opportunity. It feels like is in the air. I agree with you there, because you can't buy anything beyond it. It really has to be a tier 1 level guy. I think that's the only place it's still there. But there's not the same like under 23 guy that could get a good move, or a wee guy that was alright but just a wee bit too expensive for you. Because the in-season viability of some of these cards is a huge part of their price point. And when they go classic and they fall into the raft of in with everyone else, yeah, there's less opportunity right now, because surely by then they'll be cheaper. So I'm with you on that one, unless it's like those tier 1 star level guys. My captain choices were similar players hitting 70s and 80s, and my captain choices were gutted. Boyson, rotten luck on that one. Ice Cold Palmer, fist bump, good to see you. And yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at for the weekend, and just generally the gallery overall. There's not really any MLS guys that I'm that high on. Like, oh, I'd love to add him into the gallery, but it's kind of the only thing the gallery's overly missing right now, because I do want to keep winning cash where possible, and MLS is going to be the main way of doing it. The difficult thing about MLS is it is very difficult, you know, and for that reason it's quite an open competition. And like we've seen with some of the team stacks, when they've been coming in hard and coming in good, and I'm confident NYC can get there, because they are doing alright. They're just sucking on SO5. It's maybe not too big of a gap to fill, so I'm kind of hopeful that can swing for me. But I do need a power player or two around side it to make the difference. But nobody really jumps out at me when I look at this. Almiron would be fun for nostalgia. An Almiron Atlanta card feels fun to me. But he's not been that mad. And then, yeah, a bunch of these other guys are just kind of fine, aren't they? Quinn Sullivan, though. Oh, yeah, he could be our guy. He could be our guy, Quinn. That's a wee bit of food for thought on me. Liam King, good to see you. And Mitchell Clements and 3 Dots, of course, in the chat. Good to see you guys. I'm making the jump to rare cards. Should I sell all of my limiteds to help fund it? If not, what sort of limited should I keep? I've got 5% Chelsea, but then some have players like Rafinha and Yamal. Oh, that's a bit of a big one, buddy. It's hard to go. I can't go right into it, Mitchell, because I've not got you on as having a season ticket. And that's kind of the purpose of the stream. But as a general premise, we did a video... We did a video called Limited or Rare. It went out in December. I highly recommend you check that out as an overview. If you've seen it already, brilliant. If you've not, it'll be very good viewing for you. I linked it at the end of the when to buy in season cards or when to sell in season cards video that went out a few days ago. So if you're just generally after that sort of content, there's 2 good videos I recommend you check out. But in general, like, your limited team is probably going to be your first expression of depth. Jordy? I didn't see him. We do like Jordy. Where is he? Is on page 1. Jesus, Bamba's nice and cheap, isn't he? Jordy. I think he's on page 1. Yeah, Kieran, the defence is it's the really tricky bit. It's not even just it's okay to get, it's kind of easy enough to get okay defenders, but when Andy Nahar drops a 100 with triple assist, you know, that's the kind of, like Shaberko I think's a solid pick, but again, those DNPs you need to watch out for. Is it just me or did I not see Jordy Mihailovic? Oh, there he is there. He's actually not that bad compared to other guys in the region. You know, he's the main guy at Rapid as well. Or Rapids. To join the season ticket, it's normally pinned in the live chat. I've not got it there. I'll put it in the chat now. But in the comments, in the description of the video, there's a link underneath the video as well. There's a join button. If you click on any of those things, YouTube will explain what you get and all that kind of stuff. But would you cry it? There's three options. 2 of them are donation based, and that's just people that want to support the channel but they don't care about all the gallery review stuff. I've just posted it in the chat and pinned it there for anyone who's after it. So none of the donation things will help you out here if you're after me cracking it open and going after it. It's the season ticket one that you're after. We've also got a Telegram group, and we give away cards and stuff like that. As soon as I always remember that, I think I've actually got cards here that I've been sitting meaning to give away for a wee while. I give away all my limiteds to the channel members, except for like the goalkeepers essentially. And this Ilinic rookie that I won. But essentially all these limiteds are, except for the goalkeepers, are set to be given away to the members. And I always struggle with just remembering to follow up on it and doing it in a place where all the members can see the giveaway and all get involved in it. So maybe do a wee video for it. I keep meaning to do it, but we'll probably get to it this week and try and get these cards distributed. But I was kind of half waiting on, for it's 16 Essence, if we could do a wee craft video around it, craft a wee card, add it into the pile, give them all away. I'm kind of hopeful of doing that. But we need some more limited Essence. We need 4 more limited Essence. Are we on track for getting any? Oh, we are. We're going to get 14. That's nice. I wonder where we got that from. It must be the Celtic teams. Because it wasn't the MLS teams, was it? No. Yeah, so we get 10 from this team with Captain Jota. Oh, we're going to get $4 from this one. That's fun. Division 2 team with Ida. XP. And then we get 4 Essence out of the clean sheet goalkeeper teams. And do you know what? Thiago Andrade is still to play. That's quite interesting. I wonder if Andrade can get like a 50-pointer. We'll actually pull a card. It'll be crap right enough, but how far away are we from like a decent card? Oh no, that's the pools we've been into. Don't want to see that. So let's see, tier 3. 378. So yeah, if Andrade can do like an 80 or something, yeah, the best case scenario is we can get into that tier 3 pool, by the way, so we're all cheering on Andrade tomorrow. And yeah, so that's what we'll do. We'll craft that limited Essence and we'll do a proper member giveaway with all the limited cards that we've got here. And yeah, 3 dots. I was going to answer your thing as well, kind of briefly. I was just kind of all over the place, mate, but let me go backwards to go forwards. What was it you were asking, buddy? And Mitch was got his season ticket. Love that, mate. Love that. Thanks very much for the support. Really appreciate it. 3 dots asked, what do you think of buying a PSG stack? I get them for Champions League and whatever's left of the season. Yeah, that's a really good strategy in general, is like buying the in-season guys when they're on a down while you can get yield out of them. That's kind of, if you want, so I did a video the other day talking about buying in-season cards. I've referenced it a few times already. I highly recommend 3 dots. You check that out if that's your mindset at the moment. But yeah, it's a solid strategy that can work if you do it right, of course. Miazka, I can't spell his name. That's a funny one. Somehow YouTube managed to unsubscribe me from the channel. That's weird. Yeah. Afternoon, Quinny, if you've got time, summer teams, yeah, let's do it, Ian. I'll add you on. We'll get stuck into it. How long have we been preambling for? 20 minutes? Yeah, we'll get stuck into the requests. from the members now. Josh Cameron, good afternoon. I've seen you already, sorry. Full J League tomorrow morning, of course, as well. Yeah, we've got 3 requests sitting up here. And otherwise, yeah, I think in terms of preamble stuff, I think that's me. Kind of went through the majority of it. And Mitchell, if you want me to add you on as well, buddy, just tell me your club name, and we can go through the thing. Oh, I knew I forgot something. I was meant to feed myself between streams. I never quite had the time. Just as the hungers were getting me. But anyway, it's a problem for me in an hour or something like that. But yeah, thanks to everyone that's joined us. Fist bumps on arrival, of course. Make sure to hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't done so already, or if YouTube has maybe unsubscribed you. Which is weird, by the way, because I have noticed that sometimes the sub number just goes down a couple. So maybe double check that. See if YouTube's unsubscribed you for some weird glitchy reason. But yeah, first up we had James J. I think I need to put you back over here to see it properly. I'm going to unpin that message and then I'll repin it. Just working towards good summer contender, overall contender coverage. So summer contender is the vibe we've got here. 97 rares. And let's go to contender. And let's see what we're cooking with. Are commons in here? Yeah, they are. So let's filter by rare. So we're looking for that good coverage. Okay, so still got it on newest to oldest. So I think goalkeeper wise you've got the boxes ticked. There's enough J-League keepers here. I've actually never seen that Scott Bain card before, so that's just kind of funny to see it. A wee bit of the Croatia, who's a DNP guy, in fact, so ignore him. Yeah, it is mainly across the Atlantic, a lot of our side of the world. For the majority of your goalkeepers here, there's enough of them that are playing that are in season. There's only 2 classics, the Broderston and the Armani. In defence, yeah, I might need to, just give me 2 seconds, guys. I need to eat a cookie, 2 seconds. Thanks a lot, guys, for the patience. But Kieran M was laughing at the Russell announcement. Where's Russell been announced to? Nah, no munchies at this time of day, Mikey boy. Strictly lunchies. Lunchy munchies. Mitch, got you on there, buddy. So yeah, Johnny Russell, where's he been announced to? Please be somewhere good. RSL. Oh no. Oh no, we're going to need to watch RSL, aren't we? Ah, well, at least he'll play. At least he'll play. JFR to RSL. Okay, boy, James J. with the likes of Vickers and Trusty being in here and Scales, I just wonder if that Celtic defence being missing maybe takes a wee bit of the top defensive power. Andrade comes into that as well. But Kim Junsuke Suzuki are top of the food chain. Montiel's obviously up there as well. Chow Marcello's been boss. This is a new name on me, but another Brazilian in the J-League. Yeah, he looks good. Really good AA. Not shy of a goal. 3 goals in the last year. I like him a lot, by the way. Vissel Kobe. Mikhail could be alright. Sekigawa, Slabhead, Acuna. I think the defence is just about okay. I don't know if there's any top of the food chain guys that you don't really have here to replace the likes of the Celtic defenders when they go out. So we think about this against like 3 good in-season teams. As long as they're all playing, I see 3 in the top row, 4, 5, 6 or 7 maybe once we get to the second row. And then the rest of the squad guys, if they get good games or in good form, there's probably just about enough options there. I'm getting a wee bit of deja vu from doing this before, because I think the midfield is like where we've looked at previously to try and get some improvement. I'm not sure if that's happened in recent weeks. We'll have a wee peek at it in terms of newest to oldest. Wakazaka is probably the newest one, but I recognise these lads been in the building for you. I just think the likes of James can be a bit shaky at times. Lucas Fernandez is hot and cold. I think a lot of these guys do exhibit that. Is maybe the play with this, let's have a look at forwards. Is the play with this maybe to be like almost exclusively classic midfielder? Because I think we could probably pick up on a couple of forwards that are in the same realm as Elias, Lamas, Lingard, Yuma Suzuki, and whatever that are in season from the J and the K League. And even the guy I won the other day, by the way, who I thought was suspended, so I never used him at the weekend, but double decisive, he absolutely ripped his face off. Yu Kyang Hyun, 84, actually only 1 decisive. So there's guys like this around that league I think you can pick up. It's midfield that feels like is the soft spot. So as I look at this, mate, and we're thinking about, like, you've even got great classic forward options, of course, like Memphis and Cecina. Paulinho's back fit now. But when I see that Teixeira, I'm thinking, could we get another bit of Savio kind of plays into that, Quintero kind of plays into that to a lesser extent each time. But like, could we add like Canales? Could we get classic mid to be like a core part of the non-EU build? Because I think that's the power play that you don't really have here in midfield. Like, it's kind of a situation of what you've got already, where like you can get a wee Lucas Hernandez or a Wakazaka, a few of these lads, but if Teixeira smashes, if Canales smashes, they're not going to be anywhere near them. So I think classic mid is maybe the angle, the player profile I would maybe stress here. We're obviously still waiting for Santirod to become good, but I think your defence is pretty much good enough, and you could get another guy or two that's in season if you don't have them already to kind of bolster and fill that out ever so slightly. Same with forward. And with classic midfielders, doesn't feel like it would be a super competitive section of the market. So we go to contender. Let's go J, K, Arge, Mexico, Bruce Hill. I think that's Switzerland. This will be Peru and Chile. It's not even let me click these guys. I wonder if it's because it's too... Oh, I think I've got the in-season filter on. So let's remove the in-season filter. And then let's click on... Yeah, there we go. All these are cats. So, Canales, what's wrong with him? Is he injured? I had no idea, by the way. Really cheap for him right now. Paradella. Never knew he had a card as old as that, by the way, as well. Very cheap. Alan Patrick is getting some form, by the way. International. Wow. Alan Patrick is fucking on it, by the way. I'm sure there's a Zenit stack you could make out the Brazil league now. Juan Bernetta. There's a boy Junsuke Suzuki. Marcelino Moreno. Eat your heart out. It's funny to see Brohome and Naipan here. Palavicino, 12 quid. These are the Aranguiz. Aranguiz, by the way, he's coming to life. Killing it in Chile, living his best life there. 4 quid. I don't know if he's quite in this realm, is he? But maybe not too far off. DLC, by the way. It's quite cheap for him. I know he's not been great, but fine. That Alan Patrick is quite a startling card to see, isn't it? We Phil Coutinho, 8 quid. Let's go back to the beginning and let's just flip it on its head for a moment to being forward. See if we get that same classic power there. Carl's back, who's at Sarpsborg, I'm sure. Started life off well, scored again at the weekend, interesting. I don't know if there's anyone else. Idrisse kind of comes into that category. Savarino, maybe. But yeah, I don't think you're getting the same points at classic forward. As you are a classic mid. I think your in-season compliment's pretty sound. I just think, James, classic mid is probably the profile to aim yourself at. Oh, here's a wee guy. Atlas. The Paraguayan Lazio card. I love finding those wee things. Yeah, I just don't see it. Forward classic for contender. Like good bang for buck in terms of the difference maker in a team. I think that's very much more, and we'll just finish this analysis with the defender. But I think it's very much the midfielder is the way to go here. We're on page 1? Yeah, we're on page 1. So we've got big Danilo there. Candlesticks all over the place. Big score, no score. Marcus Rojo. Always forget he's got cards. Fabricio Lopez. Sergio Ramos. That wee Montiel. Izquierdo is not bad for 8 quid. But yeah, I'm not too sure you get classic defence options. A few of them are alright, like Danilo's and those types of guys. Ayrton. Some of these guys are alright, aren't they? But I think it's more of the price point for the points. Like £4 for these defenders would be the thing. You could get a mid that was better, and in season they would be good options in that sense. But I think for the way your gallery sits now, as I see it, classic mid is the way to go with this one. I'm rather tempted by the Ramos, by the way. I really love this one that Contenders got listed because it's Real Madrid strip captain's armband. But I do have a Neymar in that season. That could be kind of tempting in itself. I'm finding that really tempting, by the way. But yeah, James, I think that's where we're at. You've got good strength, good numbers, good quality. I think midfield is get some classic buff in there, and then lean on your in-season cards at defence and forward. There aren't any cards on sale, but Putalidis, want to keep an eye on, moved to Norway and takes set pieces for Sandefjord. I think I seen him when I was analysing the Norwegian league on some Celtic content recently. Patulidis, so watch out for that one. Mikey Boy in the chat with the fire hot intel. Yeah, I think that's pretty much the size of it for me, James. Mason Miller, what were we after? I would love a review. Okay, so Where to start, Mason? Are you still here? Is there some? Is there an angle to take on this? Is there something to focus on? We'll have a wee scan and work out for ourselves, obviously, but feel free to add any context in. We've got a Premier League strategy, which I'm surprised to see from memory. I don't remember you having. Okay, so we've got Prem. I don't know if that's something you've recently dipped into, and I mean that dipped into with the dips and whatnot. We're not playing Bunde with any degree. We're not playing La Liga at all. Challenger. What do we have? 5 goalies, etc., etc. Yes, we've got a wee Challenger vibe. Do we have anything in MLS? We do. In Contender, what we're looking at, I guess a lot of Rangers guys and stuff, don't you? Yeah, Rangers and stuff. So yeah, I'll chill for a wee second, Mason, in case you're here and you can give me any context. MLS and Classic for next season. Ooh, okay. So let's look at MLS first because that's a kind of isolated competition. Best to worst. Okay, so we've got a nice set of Classic goalies, kind of 3 top of class level guys, I would say, as well as a few budget Sean Johns, Brad, Fry. We've actually got a great selection of keepers here. Between Daniel and Brady, got 2 good in seasons there. Without having, and also I'm biased, but without having a Sean John or a Matt, threes would probably complement this setup quite well in terms of an in-season option. But yeah, decent, good picks overall. Tavon Gray being back is good because he's actually pretty good on SO5. But your defence for in-season is pretty, it's not fun. It's basically the same defence I've got, which is very frustrating. I've got a Henry Kessler, which makes it a bit easier. He's obviously been out. I don't even know why he's out. I haven't even looked into it yet. I keep forgetting. But I think you kind of need another defender in here, just in case Gutman doesn't hit and NYC suck, because that's just always a possibility. And I'm not that high on Lovitz and Zanka. They're alright, but they're not priority. You could play a Classic defender, of course, but I suspect we've got the same kind of spread of in-season and Classic into midfield as we do. Yeah, the in-season mid actually should be quite okay, because I do think like the kind of core guys you've got there, again, quite similar to my own, are good enough. It's quite thin. Classic-wise, you're well covered with options and quality. I think for in-season, you're going to be looking at playing double forward quite a lot. You're really good forward picks. The Classics are fine as well. So, yeah, I think for in-season, like, I don't know, or for MLS in general, you're kind of in the same boat as me, where you've got like the base, you've got a setup, you've got guys that play, you've got guys that, you know, when they're probably going to play better than not, for the most part. But like me, there's just no in-season fixture-proof player. Home or away, doesn't matter. Good team, bad team, doesn't matter. You've got those guys at Classic. Maybe a few of your forwards kind of tick that box. But in MLS, as we've seen, it's been all about your defence and midfield picks. And I think for in-season, that's where you're just maybe missing. Yeah. I'd recommend getting an Aidan O'Neill in for the NYC collection when that card comes out. But yeah, Mason, I think that's where MLS is at for me. Really, like Classic, you're firing on all cylinders, really, aren't you? Speaking of Classic, I was looking at Ymars because of that Seattle thing I've got going on. Hey, there we go. Do you take cash? They do. I might try and buy that now, guys. Give me a uno momento. See, it was listed for like £9 the other day and I never bought it, and then it came to the weekend, it's like, I should have got that. Not quite a jersey number. I was going to say, don't tell me someone's just bought it. It's just glitched out on me there. What does it we need to pay? Add. That's 2 things. Sorry lads, bear with me. So let's bloody pennies, by the way. Boom, there we go. Oy. You know, the thing I was thinking about this Seattle collection is I actually used to have a lot of it at Limited. Some of you guys that have been here for a while will remember my main Limited strategy was would you McCry it? The Seattle stack. We just used to copy and paste it. Fry, CR7, Jomo, Ymar, and then we were just kind of randomly rotating João Paulos and Rusnaks and whatever. So it's nice to have them back at rare. Nice kind of memorable season. Nice we got that one in, which is cool. Just a wee thought that came into my head when we were chatting about this stuff. I thought, I'll better check the market. Need to just double check now because some of these strips confuse me with that season of MLS. Yeah, Ymar's in there. That's good. So we've kind of got all the main players. We need a Fry, and then we're just in no bed, and we're just catching stragglers. It's quite a small collection, isn't it? Anyway, the other thing you asked for Mason Miller was chatting on Classic right now. Mostly MLS, so Mason. Yeah, I think with MLS it's quite surface level where you're at the moment. Like the Classic depth is really good and really strong, and it's just that in season, like I feel your NYC pain here. The best team that suck is kind of the way it's went for them so far. And I think it's just a fixture proof in season card. Maybe a midfielder because your forwards are really powerful. Defense, like you maybe just about get away with like Thiago, Engel, and Gutman for the most part for like team one. But I think that, and don't get me wrong, I love Maxey, I love Brian Gutierrez and that as well, but they're not really fixture proof. I think that's what you need in midfield in season. And then in terms of Classic, right? So I've kind of got a bit of a different lens across this, and I know you've said like mainly MLS and whatever. So I'll kind of go through this as kind of, as I say, like top down as we can make it. But you've got you've got 6 Premier League goalkeepers here. Now, will they all be Premier League keepers next season? Probably. Maybe there's a transfer or two that disrupts one or two of them. Who knows what's happening with Kepa. But this will get you going. And if we use this as a kind of template for the other ones, we're going to need 3 classics. And then you're going to want to have the ability to have classic goalkeepers as your first port of call for in-season next year. So the goalkeepers are fine. When it comes to defence, this is now going to be your depth for 3 teams, and the better players, or 2, depending on how many of them there are going to be looked at as, once you get an in-season keeper, could they be the classic player that filters in here? So we're kind of needing depth for 3 teams, but also a little bit stacked on the top end quality, less so on the depth. So if we look at this, like your top row is really good. Tarkowski, Totti, Lacroix, Murillo, Munoz, Robinson. Zabarni is okay. Kerkez, if he goes to Liverpool, could be quality. Van Hecke and Richards are fine as well. But in your classic teams, like you're going to want as many of these guys that are pushing like the Munoz scores, the Robinson scores, the Tarkowski scores for the most part. Well, you'd be really after. They're all actually really good. I'd be nitpicking if I picked out an individual and said, do you really want him for next year? Because they all can be fine enough, and for the numbers you've got here, that might be just fine actually the way it is. But the only thing I would say you could add into this is someone who throughout this season has evaded you, and it doesn't even matter now what season they're in. So again, just use this as an example more than go and do this type of thing. If we look at in-season all Premier League defenders, like somebody like Guardiola at 12 quid, and who knows how much that changes. Obviously Trent's probably going to Spain, Van Dijk at 9. Like, is there a guy like that you could bring in? It's the only thing I'd think about now at this point. I wouldn't be looking at trying to get a, oh look, Reece James is £2 or any nonsense like that. So I think the defence is kind of, yeah, it's kind of just about there. It could use a star level guy, a tier 1 level guy. Midfield, do you know, I don't really feel that way about. I think your midfield is pretty good across the top, like 9 or 10 cards here. That's kind of all you've got, to be honest with you. But again, it's the same type of thing I would say. Even with your forwards as well, by the way. Forwards are fine, I wouldn't touch them at all. Just watch how the transfer market moves. But with the midfielders, like, you've kind of got all shapes and sizes, all sorts of good guys you want here. And the only thing I'd be adding in is like an elite level guy that can make the difference. Let's see what Champ's cooking with. It's probably much the same, yeah, as just the spillovers we're probably playing here, which is fine. If we look at Challenger. So for Classic, right, if Muslera and Ganuk here are like nailed on, the Turkish calendar is the coverage to have. The Belgians are good because they come back early. The Dutch are good because they're kind of run through. They take a winter break, but it's not much of a winter break. So they all have their own fixture things. But I think for this region, that's the number one thing to be looking at classic goalkeepers for is utility and fixture coverage. So is there more Turkey or more English Championship that could be gotten to round that off a bit better? Maybe it's not really worth it. CJ Egan-Riley, one of your best players, is going to be out of region. And the defence is quite slim behind that, by the way. Manor Solomon will be out of region. A few transfers might disrupt this midfield as well. Yeah, I'm not too sure I would do anything with Challenger at all. If anything, I'd be quite braced with Challenger to cash it in. Or use it for like specials and such. Contender, you've probably got too many contender cards here for next year. And that's a process of maybe just taking the bottom out of it or just consolidating back down to Rangers for yourself. And yeah, do you know, that's probably what I would do for yourself when it comes to the contender ones, because if you are going to buy yourself Rangers cards again next year, like you're going to be like walking down this path that me and all the other Celtic kind of collectors have had on the go for the last couple of years, where you're going to now want to use multi-entry, you're going to want to play different combinations of cards and whatever. And because Rangers have only been on it this year, you've not really got that luxury of having classic cards behind you. So that's maybe something I would be considering with like your European cards here. You're going to probably want to keep the J-League guys and the Brazilian guys for the summer, obviously. But like your Bundesliga 2 guys, the non-smashers, like I'd keep Wanizek and Shaqiri, those types of guys, obviously. But Kasper Yander, Mamadou Sangar, Arnie Engels as well, obviously I'd put him into that. These Rapid Vienna guys, could we just turn that into like a second Rangers collection in this? Because then what you'll have set up there is like a full classic allotment. If you can double up on all your Rangers cards, or all the meaningful ones at least anyway, like go and get in a couple of goalkeepers, go and get in a couple of Taverniers, or whoever you think's going to be the main man for you next year, obviously not Czerny. I'd probably focus a bit more on that and get rid of some of the Rapid cards and Dundee United and Salzburg guys. Unless there's one of these collections you really like and you're going to keep, you get a high collection bonus on it or something like that. Like Salzburg and Rapid, they're both up at the same spot. Maybe pick one of them if you do want to keep one. You don't want to get rid of them all. Maybe just keep one. You do want to have a different team, spread your liability on the results and the injuries and whatever. So I get that. But otherwise, for Classic Contender, you're probably better served doubling into your Rangers POV here and dispense with some of those fringe budget guys that you've been running with in the season. It's kind of how I would sum your Classic situation up here, mate, across the pantheon of competitions we've got here. I'm just going to get the pop-out chat sorted again. So I'm twisting my neck upside down here across all the screens, and we'll see what you guys are saying to it. Ali McElveen, good to see you. Fist bump. Thanks for joining the channel. Thanks for joining the chat. What would you do with £400 to spend on limited? Would you buy the best MLS players for free teams, or would you pick up one team, stack free lineups, and maybe add? So if you have to spend that money today, well, that's the way you're kind of framing this. Like, you've got your account set up, you've got 400 quid. What's the best way to go about it? I think buying MLS for expected ROI is kind of madness because it's so mental. But the second element that you brought there, like, get one team, triple stack the lineup, and then get like captains from other teams in, is the way to go about it. Because the way MLS, I think, success kind of lives and dies on, there is some information that we're not going to get until closer to kickoff, and by that time you've selected your teams, and if the goalkeeper's not in the squad, you only need to look at what happened to Miami this weekend, where they changed fucking everything. It wasn't totally unexpected because they are playing midweeks. They want to win the CONCACAF Champions League, but they changed their whole team, and if anyone had any sort of Miami team this weekend, they were dead. So that force majeure is always going to be around, but I like that as overall the play. Like, you've got the sense of who's playing, and you know, like, who is good, who's in form, who does well at home, who do you like. With me, with Celtic and with some other teams, like, for example, at home I pick the centre backs, away pick the full backs, things like that. And I think focusing on one team gets you to that knowledge point quicker. But yeah, it's all eggs in one basket. But then you need like a captain like a Lucho Acosta or an Evander or something. You bring them in from another collection and you just plug and play them in as a fixture-proof player. I would rather go that way than just scattering across combinations of mosaics of teams, really. But in general, if I've got an account to start with and I've got 400 quid, depending on who you support, I am waiting for next year. The only thing I would buy now is kind of what one of the points was saying earlier about buying like the in-season PSG stack for an absolute song, knowing you're going to play it as classic next year, but you're going to get some in-season bites of the cherry now. That's the way I would look at it personally. But if you have to get into something now, like the MLS thing you've said is okay, but it's probably not what I would go with. Again, Alan, it's hard to go into much more detail because we do this for the channel members, the season ticket holders. But I love the contributions from the chat. Ian Sorare, that's what I've been doing. Turned a lot of my European contender into Asia for the summer. Ian's a pro. He's been here before, hasn't he? And yeah, to start that churn ahead of Europe coming back, your Asian guys are firing. Love that, Ian. I'd probably look at J&K considering what the competition is compared to most entries. Yeah, like effort in J&K, you can get up the leaderboard a lot quicker because it's just, yeah, there's a bit of a knowledge gap there, isn't there? And less boss players to be worried about. Cheers, Quinny. I appreciate the help as always. Just moving into Challenger, to be honest, really enjoy it. Fair enough. It was just when I looked at that, I didn't see much to be like, oh, like, let's get our hooks into this and let's go into the market. Like, you've got the keepers there, and if you're going to run it next year, it's a little expansion project for you. Like I always say, the longer you play Sorare, you need to have footprints in every competition, because if you have established collections, Rangers, Salzburgs, whatever it is, they are going to transfer players. And if it's a player you really like, or you maybe don't like him, but he moves somewhere and he's super good there, you're going to want to take advantage of that. So having the footprint here is worth having, especially if you're not like, hey, I'm not too bored. If guys move out and it falls apart, I'll use the spare pieces for All-Star and for specials. Nothing wrong with that. I do it myself. So yeah, fair enough. If that's your move. Boyson. I know, Boyson, you charge on in the chat, mate. I love it. Love it. And what do you think of Portland? Good. Good. Kind of like a slightly better version of NYC so far with DaCosta and Moreno. They've actually got some guys that are popping 70s, once in a while. So, yeah, they're fine. Not a big fan of the overall squad as being like a good standard, but they're good, aren't they? They're fine. But yeah, Mason. Just, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with your classics on your limited and with the MLS thing. Really well built for the most part, but yeah, like, you're just, when I look at your gallery and think about you as a Rangers fan, like, you're just kind of a year or two behind where I was, and now it's multi-entry, so it's a little bit different as well, because there's more pressure on, like, you need to have 3 Taverniers if he doesn't leave this summer. I don't know if there is any speculation or any probability of that happening, but that kind of sentiment, Igaman, whoever's your big players for this year and for next year, you need 3 copies of them, maybe even 4. If you're not going to run into in-season on day 1, the new collection when it comes out. So you can play those 3 optimal classic stacks, and then you've got a classic, whoever the Tavernier, like buying him in season next year is going to be really expensive again, of course. So having 4 Taverniers, 3 for classic, 1 for in season, and then as time goes on, you maybe move 3 of those classics into in season and leave 1 of them in classic. That's something to be mindful of. Do we think classic prices are going to creep back up? I think what happens sometimes, Josh, is that they don't necessarily creep up, but the market goes dry. And when the market goes dry, what I mean by that is everyone who wants to buy the card has bought the card. And that means everyone who's trying to sell it is just waiting for the supply, the demand to flood back in. And while there's no obvious demand, prices just stagnate on the market. People then list them up for an extra $5. Everyone's listings ends. Everyone then revisits the market and sees the floor has been £5 more than what it should be. Then everyone lists there, and then it sets because it's so dry. Think of it like cement; it kind of sets, and then it's not until it floods back out and washes it down again. So I'm not too sure it will actually creep up as much as like the market will grind to a halt, and it will appear that prices aren't doing anything. Kind of the same effect that list or play had. It's just when there's less things listed in the market, there's less price pressure to bring it down. To sell on for a profit, and a classic profit is a hard thing to think about. I think the top end classic cards we've seen at Rare is still like 40-50 quid, so you need to be picking them up really cheap, and they need to have that top potential to get into that price point. I'm not too sure there's enough around for that to plan for it, Josh, personally. Like, you can and you will, I'm sure, in some places, but I personally would be comfortable buying with that in mind. It's more of a silver lining if it could happen. Yeah, Boyson, I love that extra wee chat there as well. I'm going to have to pop away soon. Will I still be able to watch this back on YouTube? Yes, Mitchell, you'll be able to watch this back. No problem at all. Like, Saka is 250 in season now. His classic was going for more. Ah, interesting. Yeah, so like, it has to be someone that has that potential. Saka's not bad as well because of the forward midfield dynamic that goes around that. Well, people want Saka as a forward before they want him as a mid, I think, don't they? So I think there's like bespoke opportunities. Like, Saka's probably a great one. Rodrigo, is he one? Maybe, I don't know. Guys with not that many issues and guys with funny position changes. I think, yeah, there's a space for that, Josh. I think Northern Sports Cards is drinking the same tea as me. It's not something to overly commit a strategy into, but for points like guys like Saka or that kind of thing, yeah, there's a space there, I think. Like Adam Wharton's a great one as well. He's only had like a couple of cards in the grand scheme of things, and if he does get a move to like Man United or Arsenal or whoever wants to buy him and makes him like a top level midfielder, he's only got 87 rares, you know. So there's some guys that this will happen for, but it's just not going to be a uniform thing. Oy, oy, oy. Sorry, just a wee group chat thing got me there. But yeah, that's how I kind of feel on that. Ian, what were we after, my man? Ian. Summer stuff? You can look at my summer team's depth. JK, RJ. Let's do it. JK, RJ. The K, the J, and the RGs. The Jack, or Kaj, JAK. So let's see, we've got Armani in season, that's a big card. We've got a special edition, no idea who it is, but the Kyoto Sanga goalkeeper. Jo Hyun Woo classic, Nishikawa classic, Tani in season, Osako in season. I don't know this guy, but yeah, 6 keepers. 2 classic, 4 in season. Great split. Oh, sorry guys, need to change my camera battery. Or is it overheated? I'm not sure if it's overheated or if it's the battery. Just bear with us a second. It's been a busy day. Must have been the battery, so I think we've turned it back on. There we go. So yeah, basic numbers are all good. I would be worried, Ian, about handcuffing 1 or 2 of these, because it always happens. You know it does, mate. So yeah, I'd maybe start. I wouldn't buy more goalkeepers. I would just handcuff these ones. Top line of defence is really good. Koga, by the way, living his best life again. Good to see him back, scoring big. Old Kashiwa race all stack with Koga, Isaka, Alunga, Kim Sung-gyu in goals. Those were the days. Those were the days. And I think like this region, like you're maybe missing one of those guys like Jim Sing-kyu, who goes with your Al Arab here, or Junsuke Suzuki just on profile. What is the deal with Dusty? He's been kind of slept on, hasn't he? Everyone's kind of just ignored him. Oh, that jersey mint's a nice one, isn't it? This is quite cool as well. On instant buy. Dusty Show. But yeah, it's maybe like, because you're going to have 3 in seasons, so let's imagine it's the 3 best defenders that go. Yeah, it's probably quite fine. It's just when I think when we get to like a row and a half across 6 teams, it's maybe just a bit thin, and you'll just have a lot of pressure on, like, if one guy's missing all of a sudden, or 2 guys go off form quite quickly. It's felt. Nice, Mitchell. Thanks very much, mate. I don't want to go too deep, but still want to get 5 or 6 teams out. Yeah, fair enough, Ian. Quinny, I'm off out the door for birthday celebrations. Happy birthday, Red or Dead. Many happy returns. Fist bump. Have a cold one on me. Oh, Kieran, I think you missed my request. Oh, apologies, mate. I see a few comments from you. Right, so I see afternoon, Quinny. And then I see, I found it hard to get MLS defenders other than the really expensive guys like Wagner. Was laughing at the Russell announcement. RSL. I'm sorry, Kieran, it's not came through, buddy. Like, I can add it on. There's room for you, mate. That's why I'm thinking of some good cards. Like Watkins in season rare has gone for 20 quid. I'm not having him being less. Oh, where did that comment go? Less than 20 next season, even as classic. So hard to forecast that, mate. Honestly, I can't openly say you're right or you're wrong on it, because like, it really depends, man. There's so many things. But yeah, Kieran, get your comment back in, buddy. Mitchell, we'll be on to you in a wee second, buddy, as well, with yours as we finish up with Ian here. Again, I'm getting a wee bit of deja vu from the last Challenger depth thing we looked at. You've got a lot of in-seasons, Ian. Could we get a classic mid in, like a classic Canales? Or, I know he doesn't fit the leagues you play elsewhere, but is there a guy like Canales, Paradella, somebody like that we could bring in? That's probably all this needs in midfield, to be honest with you. Is a wee bit of that punching power. You've got it already with some of them. Don't get me wrong, but it's just that top tier guy we're missing. And then up front, painting by numbers, you're going to be square here, aren't you? Yeah, nice cards. Yeah, I think forward is no problem. Yeah, that's the only thing I would say about this, mate, is defender. Could we get one more guy that's maybe Asian based? Yeah, one more Asian based guy that goes on par with the top line here, and a classic mid of notable repute. Could you please look at MLS Rare? Started as a budget but added a few players to be competitive. Still need to get handicaps, but any options to strengthen, please? Don't know what you mean by handicaps there, sorry. But I'm sure it'll all make sense in a minute. But yeah. Nice rinse and repeat. What about the guy that ripped up the Super Classico yesterday? Mastuono. He's so good to give him two seasons of being a rookie. Rares are not cheap, are they? Starting to come to life. Does he move in the summer? Handcuff. I knew it would make more sense in a minute. Love it, guys. Love it. But yeah, did a good job with this, Ian. Not a lot of classic pressure in your builds. I think you've got a wee bit of flex there, where you could bring in another little bit of classic, like Cecilia, or what we think of Cecilia level, a guy at the midfield, another in-season defender. Pretty swish. Finch. Oh, Finch. Right, Mitchell, our newest member, our newest season ticket holder. Yeah, battery exhausted again. Sorry, guys. Don't think that battery I put in was fully charged, the second one. I'll just put on the backup camera if I can. 2 seconds. I need to go and charge these up anyway for later. There we go. It may take a wee second to click back on. Let's give it a whirl. Yeah, mids are tough. No one is really smashing in Asia. I was tempted to pick up another Savio. Yeah, I could see doubling up on something like Savio. especially if you just hammer into the Asian fixture list there, because it is quite particular, and it's going to be all over the shop as well with the Club World Cup. So having like team fixture correlation is probably going to be kind of important for that month when everything does get wonky. That's maybe one thing to think about there, is having a team stack available. Maybe Ian. But yeah, mid is the tough part to get a kicker, isn't it? So maybe going classic and going out of region or out of league is maybe the way to go. Right, so let's see, Mitchell. Your first comment was a while ago. I'm making the jump to rare cards. Should I sell all of my limiteds to help fund it? If not, what sort of limited should I keep? And then the Chelsea stuff is like you've got 10 rares. Let's have a look. We're making the jump. Let's see what rares we're cooking. So we've got the Chelsea's. Excellent. The problem you've got here is it's across 2 collections. The sooner we can merge them into the same year, the better. This season's Chelsea collection I find quite valuable because of all the guys that have transferred out and will continue to transfer out. I would prefer an in-season. If we look at last season's Chelsea collection, on top of the guys you've got there, we've got again another bunch of keepers. Yeah, all the kind of defenders you would expect to see here. But the midfield, like, yeah, Palmer mid is suboptimal. Chukwuemeka, Ugochukwu, Lavia, Sterling forward, and Nkunku forward is nice. Yeah, I think you want the current collection for Chelsea. Ultimately, is the one to work towards. If you still have those goalkeepers, we also have Kepa, if you can get that in there, as well as the Bettinellis and the Bergstroms and whatever, Caleb Wiley's. All the other guys. Tosin's there, but there's definitely an extra defender in here. Wesley Fofana's, Alfie Gilchrist, Kieran Dewsbury Hall. If he's going to move on in the summer, he'll be useful. Cassidy's already moved on, he'll be useful. Renato Vega's moved on, he'll be useful. Lukaku, like, if you could complete this collection, there's just utility all over it. So I don't mind that. The actual question is moving into rare from limited and what to sell. So if we have a look at what we've got for limited, let's go to roster prices. We've got 0.4, just under 0.4 Ethereum, which in dollars is, I don't know how much right now, sorry, I've maybe changed my settings to pounds. So we get 500 quid odd of limiteds. Now when you gave this to me at first, I thought the Chelsea thing you had, which you do have at limited as well. Yeah, so I would keep the Chelsea collection at limited. I would keep the Chelsea limited. I suppose, is it Prem or Champ we're probably going to focus on? So I would probably keep the Chelsea collection plus the goalkeepers that you could use next year. So if we're planning on being Prem, I would keep the Prem keepers. If we're planning on being Champ, I would pick the best Champ keepers that you've got here to keep them. And I would keep the Chelsea thing going overall. I love the Barca thing you've got going on here because it's just really high caliber, really high quality players. But facilitating the move into rare, you're going to need to raise funds if you're going to do so by selling the limiteds. I don't know if you're going to, if there's an option for you to keep your limiteds and buy rares, but in any case, even if you did do that, it still is going to be advantageous for you to relieve yourself of some of these limiteds that you won't be using or needing next year. But yeah, like Yamal, Rafi, maybe get this Champions League midweek under your belt and then maybe try and get, yeah, I would really move everything on that's not Chelsea here and not a Premier League goalkeeper or a champion goalkeeper. And if we, is there a way of filtering this out? So it's just champ, isn't it? There's a wee bit of some other bits and bobs lying around, right? But we'll ignore that as nominal. And can we mark up a few leagues here? Can we go France? Yeah, we can. La Liga, Serie A, Bundes, 283. Wrap these guys up and get them moved. And if we flip this on its head and go to Premier League, because again, we're going to have Premier League plus, we're going to have Chelsea plus Premier League. And that's, yeah, but the same price again. But guys like, let's see, probably keeping Pickford and Raya. And then the Chelsea goalkeepers. So let's say Leno goes. Classic Jorgensen. Embuemo. Iwobi, Cliver, Tielemans, Eze, Gab Mag, MGW, Ivan Nielsen, Jedi. Maybe just keep some of those guys because they're quite handy. I'm just trying to think about the value they'll kind of bring. Like, what are you looking to raise here out of this Premier League lot? Maybe 50 quid. It's maybe just about worth keeping and ditch the rest of it. Probably would just be winning XP. Really appreciate it early on the start of the season. No problem, Bison. Thanks very much, mate. I'm glad it's helped. Ian, look at Ko Sung Bum from Ulsan. Vancouver look good. Yeah, Vancouver's a good team. I like Vancouver. Cat's kind of out the bag with them now for a team stack. They're quite. They should be kind of cheapy, but they ain't because they're not that sexy. But they're acting it. Berhalter, Blackman, White, Vite. So many good cards here. Never mind when Scottish Messi returns. They're alright. And yeah, maybe like a little bit of like maybe keeping your eyes on bots and stuff like that and waiting for like you'd be able to trade your way into Cucurella, Badass, Enzo, Caicedo, Jackson, Bobby Sanchez. Turn that stack into an in-season version when the current season goes classic. Would be good. Now that's actually a bit more upheaval than doing it the other way around, like taking Madueke, Lavia, and Jorgensen. I don't know if Jorgensen's back a season actually, because he was at Villarreal, wasn't he? You can keep it just as is, to be honest with you. Like you don't, I would think about merging that into one and then getting the rest of the cards in or getting more cards from that one collection would be the way to go. Vancouver have had a lot of rotations so far, but because they've had Champions League, that's imminently going to end one way or another. So I wouldn't worry about that too much. I think once that irons itself out, MLS teams don't want to rotate. But yeah, next point you're at. Oh, Pedri reward. That's going to be really. I'd really like to keep that if it was my reward. That's a lovely one. And then Kieran, last one up on the show today. Could you have a look at my MLS rare? Started as budget, but added a few players to be competitive. Still need to get handcuffs in, but any options to strengthen, please? No problem. MLS rare. Yeah, handcuffs, especially with Sawa just getting benched at the weekend. Berkey's a great injury pickup, by the way. Well done on that. If you got it as an injury pick. But yeah, handcuffs and an upgrade on McCarthy. That's the first thing I would say there. And yeah, in terms of budget, this is a good budget defence because George Campbell, Mickey Yaman, are really good defenders. Top end of the budget plays. Not quite the tier 1 star plays, but top end budget. Same with Gutman. And then the rest of these guys are, not really in that fold, are they? Yeah, those 3 guys quality, and then everyone else is a bit meh. So quite thin. Good on a budget, but good effectiveness. Evander, Almiron, this is nice, by the way. And this RSL stack's going to get a bit better now that JFR's coming into the building. I like your forwards for 3 teams in season. Yeah. I don't think Peck and Pantsil have really brought the scores. Evander's your top guy. So we're looking at picking your best keeper for the best team, easy. Picking your best defender might be challenging because there's only 3 of them to choose from, but you should be able to work that out most of the time. Evander's your best mid, goes without saying. Up front, you're kind of weighing up who's doing what, and then 5th man is probably Almiron most of the time, or is there space for a classic to come in here once in a while? We don't really have any of that on the go at the moment. Maybe a wee bit of it, but it's mainly with the goalkeepers, isn't it? So, what are we thinking? We need another defender would be helpful, because there's only 3 there. You've got 5 keepers, and once we get across classics and everything else. I don't mind a classic defender, because I see the amount of in-season you've got. The amount of in-season forward, mids, and goalkeepers you've got. A classic defender that's above the level of these guys would be a good move, especially if we're thinking we're keeping it in that budget space as well. You just seen I got Ymar for £9 there. Ymar's a top pick. Wagner, £50. Shaberko, £14. I like Shaberko. Blackman's alright at 9, but I like Shaberko a lot more at 14. All these guys are fine as well, aren't they? Byro is just a wee bit punchy. I don't think he's got that many cards in the grand scheme of things. Kessler for a £5, but yeah, Ymar, £8. Is there a move like that we could do to just give the defence a bit more punch, either to use an in-season or to use classic? Ali Ahmed has a defender card. Is that good? By the way, this could be cheat code in the making here. Is that went under the radar? This guy plays wide forward. SO5 scores as a defender. Let's do year to date. And what's his in-season cards? Mids. So defender 55, and we get 2, one in the 80 to 90, one in the 90 to 100 is a mid. We lose one in the 90 to 100s. Yeah, so the defender card's actually better. It's a wee bit funny how he's not got forward cards. Is that cheat code? It'd been great for the top shooter competition, wouldn't it? That's interesting. £4. £1 your man classic. I don't think you need him. You've got in season, but interesting to see the price point there. Jordi Alba under a tenner. And then is there anything? Rafael Santos for £1. I think he's suspended there now, but I think you can make up a bit of that gap, the defence gap in classic, and you can play that across all competitions. Very friendly on the budget as well, as you just seen there. Some great options at under a tenner. I think in season mid, because if we're thinking about going across, let's imagine we play Evander in one team, we play Almiron in the other, and then we've got the RSL guys for the third team. You've got 5 keepers, so we're going to struggle to get 5 teams of midfielders out. You probably are experiencing that anyway already. In midfield, we've got all on. Some of the in-season guys won't be that bad, and will maybe be worth the in-season lift because they're playing in-season comps then. Let's just flip the in-season filter on so we can see that properly, and then we'll go to classic. I think we're still defenders, sorry, aren't we? No, we're at mid. Obed's not bad, but 65 for a guy that doesn't score goals always feels a bit wrong to me. You have an Almiron, don't you? Yeah, you do. And this is a Newcastle one, so we're not going to get full season utility out of it. In-season Lucho. That feels very generous, by the way. In-season Lucho. There's that Ali Ahmed midfielder. Maranchuk, you've got an Almiron already. He's at 60 quid. Again, his scores aren't really delivering, but they could turn quite easily because he's consistently getting to 10 AA here. Sprinkling 3 or 4 decisives, and this guy's scoring everything. Profile, L15s and whatever goes through the roof. Manu Garcia, half the price, kind of already that guy. Don't mind him, he's the main guy for them as well, so there's no risk of him getting bombed out or anything like that. And see, to be honest, see for like the last team that you're going to play, Darlington Nagby in season for a tenner. For the last team you're going to play is not a bad card. For a tenner in season. For the last card you're going to play. Timmy Tillman, again, he's been a lot better than £18 would suggest. Maxi Morales might get better now that this other midfielder's been signed, so maybe watch out for that. Gazdag at 85 should be singing and dancing at Columbus, by the way. Excuse me. Eli Sanchez at 4 quid. I think he's been kind of out and back in, but he's again like that Nagby type. He's just kind of solid for your last team. Nagby's a wee bit nicer. Keaton Parks at 18 quid feels a bit overpriced, but could be in that same realm if it was a bit cheaper. But yeah, I'm getting our mid or two in here. Forward wise, I think they're quite okay. Obviously, more forwards are going to help you. So again, we've got 5 to cover the 5 goalkeepers. But is there anyone that super jumps out? I like Muriel, but he's never cheap because he's in season. He's old. That Bamba, you're only going to get it for a little while, but 34 is not bad. Same with Zaha. Again, you're only going to get it in season for a little while, but maybe that's not too bad a price point for it. Navarro at 60. Hannes Wolf at 25, by the way. That feels really good. I know NYC are a pain and he's not that great, but 25 quid for a guy who takes a lot of sets. I think Aidan O'Neill might take some sets off him, but that feels quite good. Guy's going to play every game he's fit. No two ways about it. Jordan Morris for 25. You've already got Jesus Ferreira. Muriel's down to 33 now. I knew as soon as this running streak ended, his price would normalise again, which it has. Ojeda we just seen there as well. Insigne. Yeah, there's not too much to go off here. Oi, oi. Oi, oi, oi. Yeah, guys, I've had fun. We've run out of requests. Just going to sit and shoot the breeze with you for a wee memento. By the way. I'm doing it, guys. So that Lucho's on the market for like 70 quid or something like that. I've also got market credits. And the in-season, I can get it with the credits for half the price of what the secondary market one is. And I'm going to take that. You guys know me, I'm a big Lucho fan. There we go, approve. So I think I'm going to take that. See what next perfectly. A budget pick. Red or Dead? No, I didn't see your request, buddy. I was looking at my Celtic collection. Do you think Ralston and Taylor? It feels like Taylor is signed on now. There we go. Not a bad wee price. Not a bad wee price. Number 6 as well. Ralston's not going to leave. Ralston's like job is to be Celtic's backup right back. Like he's going to be there forevermore. I'm really happy to get this, by the way. Really happy. Yeah, and Taylor, it feels like he's going to sign on a new contract with Celtic, which means there's going to be a left back rotation headache all next year between him and Tierney. But nah, I don't think they're leaving Celtic. Taylor might still leave. His contract is up in the summer. It's unyet decided what he's going to do. But I think he'll stay the way it feels at the moment. Red or Dead? Yeah, I'll catch yours now, buddy. But I didn't have a comment from you at the beginning, mate. I've went all the way back. Red or Dead? Yeah, the only thing you said was you're away for your birthday. Oh, and then thanks, did you see my request? MLS and Contender. I missed that comment, apologies. Red or Dead? Contender in MLS. We're in MLS mode, so let's go there. I guess, is it rare we're looking at? Nice keepers. One of each of the big guys, really. Defence is pretty solid as well. Nice depth. Really nice depth, actually. Yeah, top line of midfield is fun. Again, nice bit of depth, some nice options that can appear here and there. 80 cards total. I think for having 80 MLS cards, there is maybe a wee bit of... Bouanga kind of ticks that box, doesn't he? Bouangas and... Maranchuk, Lucho, Rusnak. Yeah, there's some of those guys about. Yeah, Walker and Ymar, great defenders. Yeah. Yeah, classic-wise, mate, honestly, I don't really see much of an issue with this. It's just quite form-sensitive with some of these guys. Like, they're all good enough and all capable enough, but... Yeah, top row of forward is cool. What would I add into this? Classic Messi down to 110. It's kind of the main thing you're missing here. In Team 1, Messi with these guys, you're competing with everyone else. Now, your Messi's not going to be the same as everyone else's, of course. Limited in season. Okay, let's have a peek at that. We did Rare Classic, I think you mentioned that for MLS, but let's go to limited in season. Okay, so we've got 1 in season keeper. And Janssen. Hollingshead, Nuhu. I think we've maybe got 2 in-season teams here from what I've seen in the other positions so far. Yeah, 2, and I think their third one's going to be quite weak, isn't it, for the most part? Let's do it by this. Yeah, so these 4 mids can go over 2 teams quite nicely, I would say. And your defenders can cover 2 teams. You've got 1 in-season keeper, 1 classic keeper. And you've got enough forwards to cover 2 teams. So, yeah, I quite like what it is, actually. I like the forward picks as well. They're good without being the most widely picked. The midfield is okay. In defence, like, you need to be clever with who you're picking. But you've got guys here that can work. So... a mid and a defender. A mid and a defender makes the biggest difference to this, I think. McGlynn. Quinn Sullivan. Love guys like that. Seb Berhalter is in that equation now. CR7 is a tenner. Jordy, 26. See, like 20 to £25. I like Pedro Vite a lot, by the way. He's only £11. Just had a bit of a fixture pile up. All Vancouver's midweeks, and he's an international player. So he's had a wee bit of a fixture pile on. But at a tenner, I really like him, by the way. Hanny gets all the fanny. It's only 24. Newcastle Almiron was a $5 there. Hartel, 7. He's on a down at the moment. Gold at 20 on injury discount. So I'd add in a guy like that, but 20 quid. And then is there a defender like Shaberko at 13 in season? I would just take that. Yeah, Christian Roldan for a tenner in season limited feels great. I don't think his rare's that badly priced either, by the way. In season. I've not really got space for it now. I was kind of weighing up what to do with MLS. I've just kind of stumbled into a solution there with that Lucho. With the market discounts. In season rare, 40 quid isn't bad, by the way. And then in season limited, a tenner on the secondary. With market credits, you could get it pretty cheap depending on what you've got. Gold as well on injury discount is a great shout as well. Red or Dead, I agree. But that's oh sugar, wrong tab. But yeah, another mid in here is just required, I think, just to make sure you get the teams to fly. And it's got to be a guy that goes into Team 1 that can then be paired with Luna or Perea, or you can go double forward with and then maybe play Jason Russell-Rowe in the second team. Very unlikely to go double defence. I think you need another defender just to have in the rotation for you, like who's at home, who's got form, who's got a good fixture. We even seen earlier when we looked at defence, like Yaman was mad cheap. And not that Yaman is the answer to a lot of problems or anything, but like to add just another defender into that mix of a high quality guy that's not going to break the bank, but is going to deliver, like Shaberko at 13, but how cheap is Yaman? And guys like him. Gutman's a $5. Gangmar, 25. Kessler down to 2 quid, by the way. That's worth taking while he's cheap because he will return to form. 'Cause he's just a good MLS level guy, isn't he? Alba in season was 14 there, and your man is a fiver. Yeah. Aaron Herrera, one of the best crossers in the division, by the way. He's only £2-3. So if you're going to have that type of defender, I think you need more of them. And then you really pick your horses every week. And yeah, McGlynn, Quinn, Berhalter, so many decent guys. Jordi Mihailovic, around that £20-25 mark in midfield that will make a big difference to your team. And you've got 2 or 3 strikers. Is there anyone that's mad, just cheap or something like that? Like a 5 or Bamba, £6. Feels like an easy pickup. And that's Chicago Bamba as well. Alonso Martinez at £7, one of the best finishers in the league probably. Almiron forward £11. I wouldn't mind adding in a forward like that. So I'd maybe add in one of each position. Hannes Will for £4 if you want to go mad cheap. And what was the other part of this Red or Dead? Sorry. Contender limited in season. Let's have a peek at that. Contender limited. I don't think we need the season filter. Oh, nice. Marcusson, Brun, and the Kyoto Sanga keeper. Again, must be the cheapest guy going. In defence, Rojo, Old Quintana, Advincula. Yeah, the defence is a bit weak. Now, I know the Rosario guys are doing okay, but like, just when I look at this, I don't see a tier 1 defender. Which is fine. It could be fine if we have it in midfield, which we don't. Like, you really don't, mate. None of these midfielders are touching the sides here. And up front, we're going Boca. And the other team. Yeah, I just think, like, so I think Boca aren't that great right now in terms of a stack. Maybe there's someone that's good that you've not got yet. If that's the case, that's probably the first thing we want. No, I think I've seen most of those guys on your page there. They can be alright, can't they? But yeah, no one's touching 80s. So there's a little bit of that I think you need to factor into it. Now, you've got a great defence with Rosario. Their main thing is defending, of course. Let's have a look. I've not actually looked at Rosario in a fair length of time, so let's have a wee peek at them for a moment. Was that Carlos Quintana or McBride? I think it was McBride. Pretty sure he plays for Rosario at the weekend. Enzo Capetti. We've heard of him before, haven't we? Tam O'Connor. We love him as well. See, they actually seem to have maybe a wee bit more of an exciting attack here, but it doesn't actually deliver that often. So yeah, mate, I think for Contender Limited, you're missing firepower. Clearly in midfield. Like, midfield here, I don't have any hope of a captain. I've not got much hope of a 75. And forward, like as we've seen with, Campaz, Copetti, some of these Boca guys, you'll be fine if you pick the right guy in the right match. You've got the basis here, but midfield, mate, is missing. We have classics, but I thought I'd just double check that. Ander Herrera didn't come up there as well. That's weird. So yeah, classic. Classic depth is really important. I think you've probably just about got it from seeing what we've got here. Canales, Brunetta, Palvicino, Moreno. You're going to need to play kind of all of those guys. You don't really have an in-season. Oh, we did have Herrera there. I was just blind, sorry. So we need to play classic mid. And do we have classic keepers? Of course we do. So I think that's the pressure you're on here, mate, is how good is your classic midfield? Can you take 3 of them into in-season and still have a good level at classic? If you remove these 3 here and put them top team, let's imagine it's double defence with the Rosario guys, double defence with the Boca guys, and maybe one team that's double attack. You're just going single mid. Canales, Bernetta, Pallavicino. And then for classic, Moreno. This guy plays in League 2, doesn't he? Yeah, so we don't have him. Savio, we've got. Aquino is alright, I think, isn't he? Gararian. Bogey. Your classics are going to take. Your classics will still go. You'll still have a classic set up here. But it feels like you're very fragile on midfield quality. And if we're going to put them into in-season, we're not going to have them in Classic. If we don't have them in Classic, Brunetta is in-season. Yeah, is that for how much longer? I thought that was only a temporary thing with some of these Mexico guys. Maybe it's not. But if he's in-season, fine. I stand corrected on that. But point still kind of remains. If we use him in an in-season team, we get a Classic from elsewhere, fine. But then the other 2 in-season teams, Canales and Pallavicino, we're then still left with the same issue. So I would think like maybe 1 more, if not 2 more, smasher mids. Let's just say 1 more. Yeah, let's see. You've got mainly Argentina there, don't you? But if we look at in-season, yeah, J, wee bit of J, no J, no J. Yeah, so mainly Argentina with a wee bit of J. So we'll keep that the same kind of filter tab here. Oh, you've got this guy. I thought he was just an outlier. He's at Huracan. Interesting. Oh, he's balling. Undersold him, so fair enough. Stand corrected on him. Classic Lucas Fernandez, £3. It's a box ticker. Shonagaki at 60p. You probably got guys like that at Classic anyway. I'm just trying to see if there's an outlier. I think you kind of need to go to China and Mexico and that kind of thing for the guy that you're missing. But you've got a lot of pressure on your Classic midfield. It's kind of the punchline to that contender segment. Oy, oy, oy. Oy, oy, oy. Another striker's never going to hurt you. But yeah, I think your Classic mid has got all the pressure on it. I bought a wee card today. Who would have thought that? Wee Lucho, by the way, what a bargain. Credits have made a bit of a difference there, obviously. Ooh, let's level him up a bit. There we go. Give that till tomorrow and we can level him up again. What about Ymar? Yeah. Level 6, but that's good. Nice high value XP card we've brought in there. Love that. The Seattle stuff, I'm glad that I'll hopefully get that finished up soon enough. The Lucho's quite cool as well because I actually do have 3 cards now from this collection, which is just fun. Those special jersey ones are belters. And my boy Pedrinho, by the way, off the bench against Miami. Double decisive. Double decisive. Hopefully he gets into the team. And Lucho is like the epitome of what I was saying I need. Just a fixture-proof guy. And him and Almada last year, or the year before last. Oh, Uragidi's finally got Dallas cards. It cost a fucking fortune, but for who he is and what he is. But he's been scoring pretty damn good, it must be said. So fair play to him. I'm quite happy I've got that in. Oh, yeah. Awesome, guys. Thanks to everyone that's tuned in today. Almost a thick end of 2 hours. It's been good fun for me. Hopefully it's been good fun for you as well. The FC Barcelona season ticket holders. Now, I've got a game at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock on MFL for the Quinny Invitational. If we beat Calva, check out the stream we did earlier this morning for a preview on the competition and my preparations for season 5, if you're interested in that. We'll be back tonight for Monday Night Football, maybe against Toby, if he can get his finger out and get through the next round. Likewise with myself. But yeah, I've had great fun today, guys. We'll be back tomorrow and the rest of the week. We've got tons of content lined up. Sorare, MFL, and just everything and anything. We're actually doing a fight watch along this week, guys. One of my best friends, my best man at my wedding, and Mikey Basson, and some of you guys that have been here longer on the channel will have heard of this man being referred to in a number of different ways as the banker and lots of other interesting little things over the years. He's fighting in MMA in a thing called Crypto Fight Week in Dubai. We're going to watch that on the channel Wednesday, 5 PM UK time. It's booked on the channel already. Something a bit different for us, but it's my pal. He's one of the first fights, so I don't think we need to go into the deep end of the card. If we get some special guests or we're having lots of fun, we'll stream for as long as we stream. But I say he's my best man at my wedding. He's one of my best pals, and I'm not watching it. And I thought it would be actually a good bit of fun if we could all kind of come together and cheer him on, as it were. So stay tuned for that, guys. I hope you've had good fun today with me. I've had a great time, of course, as well. Getting set up for the week with you guys. So thanks very much. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. If you are not a season ticket holder, if you're not a channel member, and you love the gallery review stuff we've done today, we do that every week. We do lineup building every week as well for the weekend game week. All of my limiteds, and we'll get something sorted in the next week or two because we're due to craft tomorrow. All my limiteds I give away to the season ticket holders, and we've got a bunch to give away, long overdue. We'll do that this week. And we've got a Telegram group as well. So if you don't know Telegram, it's just like WhatsApp and Discord, but way better. It's all on your phone. If you're a member, and I know we just had a new member join the channel today, if you go onto the members tab on YouTube, you only need to scroll back a little bit because there's not been that many member posts. I deliberately try not to spam that so stuff is easy to find for later. But if you go to posts here or membership, it will be in one of these tabs or both of them. You scroll back, there is a link to the Telegram group as well. It doesn't take too long to find, especially if you're the member section. And yeah, Telegram's just like WhatsApp and Discord, but it's way better, and we're in there all the time chatting shit and getting stuck into a lot of dog eating beetroot and all that good stuff. But yeah, guys, thanks very much, and I'll see you maybe later today, if not tomorrow, Wednesday. There's tons of stuff going on. Enjoy the rest of your shift today. Enjoy the rest of your content viewing experience, whatever it is you're up to. Stay out of trouble, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Fist bumps. Bye bye.